Soft winds brush across a northern land where timeless stories drift through cobbled streets and quiet fields. In Denmark, the rhythm of life moves gently, shaped by bicycles gliding down narrow lanes, the flicker of candles in cozy windows, and the distant call of seabirds along misty shores. It is a place where history and modern life blend effortlessly, wrapped in a feeling the Danes call hygge, a quiet joy found in simple comforts. Here, colorful harbor towns lean into wide open seas, and castles rest like old friends atop emerald hills. In the countryside, half-timbered houses stand among rolling meadows, while tucked-away villages hold markets filled with fresh bread, soft cheeses, and hand-woven goods. Even in the heart of its bustling capital, Denmark invites a slower breath, a deeper look, a moment to pause and savor. Tonight, the journey drifts from Copenhagen's glowing streets to ancient castles and seaside paths, across peaceful islands and hidden gardens, all under the soft embrace of northern light. As the world outside grows still, Denmark opens its arms, a place where every corner hums a lullaby, and every step carries you closer to dreams. Welcome to Bedtime Travel Stories, where soothing tales and gentle narrations take you on a tranquil journey through the world's most enchanting places, right from the comfort of your bed. Unwind and travel with us as we explore the globe one story at a time, helping you relax and drift into a peaceful sleep. Morning drifts slowly into the city, where the soft clatter of bicycle wheels echoes along narrow streets. Copenhagen wakes with a quiet grace, as if the whole city stretches and yawns beneath the wide northern sky. The colorful houses of Nyhavn lean close to the canal, their reflections rippling gently in the water below, touched by the first golden light of day. Along cobbled lanes, the scent of fresh bread and brewed coffee floats through the crisp air. Small cafés set out their tables, each one lit with a single flickering candle, inviting passers-by to sit and linger. A bakery window glows warmly, with rows of cinnamon pastries lined up like treasures, their sugary aroma curling around every corner. In the heart of the city, the spires of old churches reach toward the clouds, steady and serene. Locals pedal past in thick scarves and woolen coats, a flowing river of quiet motion. Even the buses and boats along the harbor seem to glide more slowly here, part of a rhythm that values time, not haste. A turn down a quieter street leads to Rosenborg Castle, where stone lions stand guard over rose gardens and ivy-clad walls. Here the bustle fades to a hushed reverence, and footsteps fall softer against the earth. Leaves rustle gently in the breeze, and somewhere beyond the hedges, a distant bell tolls the hour. In the afternoon, the city's many parks become sanctuaries of stillness. Children's laughter rises like bubbles in the air, mingling with the sound of fountains and the calls of birds overhead. Couples sit wrapped in shared blankets, books open but forgotten, lost instead in the comfort of being together. As twilight falls, Copenhagen glows anew. Lanterns swing gently from old iron posts, casting soft pools of light onto the stones. Reflections stretch across the canal like long, dreamy sighs, and the windows of homes and cafés shimmer with warmth. The world slows to a whisper here, and every moment invites one to simply be. Copenhagen does not rush or shout for attention. Instead, it smiles quietly, offering a gentle rhythm, a place where every breath can deepen and every heartbeat can soften. Beyond the city, where the land stretches out into soft fields and quiet forests, the castles of Denmark stand like keepers of forgotten dreams. Their stones carry the weight of centuries, weathered by salt winds and the slow passage of time. Approaching them feels like stepping into a hushed conversation between past and present. Kronborg Castle rises first, poised at the edge of the sea in Helsingør. Its towers pierce the low clouds, and the walls, thick and grey, seem to breathe with the sigh of the tide. It is a place of legends, where Shakespeare's Hamlet once wandered, and even now the corridors seem to murmur with ghostly footsteps just beyond sight. Inside, sunlight filters through tall windows, striping the stone floors with ribbons of pale gold. Tapestries ripple slightly in unseen draughts, and chandeliers sway ever so gently, as if moved by old, invisible hands. Each creaking floorboard and distant clang of metal feels like a whisper from long ago, telling stories meant only for those willing to listen. Deeper into the countryside, Frederiksborg Castle emerges like a vision from a storybook, mirrored perfectly in the still waters that cradle its base. The gardens, sculpted with geometric grace, stretch outward in hushed splendor, and fountains glisten like dewdrops caught in a dream. Inside, every hall glows with warm wood, gilded carvings, and paintings that seem almost to breathe. Further south, Eggeskov Castle sits surrounded by its own placid moat, a red-bricked refuge embraced by ancient trees. The footbridge creaks sweetly under gentle steps, and within, secret staircases and hidden nooks speak of a different kind of magic, the simple wonder of discovery. Outside, swans drift silently across the mirrored water, their reflections blending into the misty air. At each castle, there is a feeling of timeless patience, as if the stones themselves have long since learned the art of waiting. Waiting for morning mist to lift, for evening stars to blink awake, for visitors to pause and listen to the stories hidden in the walls. In the quiet presence of Denmark's castles, time folds softly inward, and for a little while, under their steady gaze, it is possible to believe that everything needed, every dream, every piece, has been waiting here all along. Nestled in the heart of Copenhagen, Tivoli Gardens awakens each morning like a scene from a forgotten fairy tale. Beneath wide, sheltering trees, lanterns sway quietly in the breeze, and the air hums with a kind of old-world magic. As the gates swing open, a hush falls over the cobbled paths, as if the gardens themselves are taking a gentle breath. Colorful pavilions line the walkways, their roofs painted in shades of deep green, soft gold, and rose red. By the calm surface of a little lake, boats drift lazily in circles, their wakes barely whispering against the shore. Musicians begin to tune their instruments in quiet corners, their notes spilling like soft ripples through the crisp morning air. The rides, old and new, glisten under the rising sun. Wooden roller coasters creak pleasantly as they prepare for the day, and the bright horses of the carousel seem to nod their heads, waiting patiently for small hands to reach for their reins. Yet there is no rush, no clamor. Everything in Tivoli moves at the pace of wonder, slow, deliberate, and full of discovery. As midday approaches, the scent of roasted almonds and fresh waffles curls through the gardens. Small cafés under trailing vines open their shutters, offering steaming mugs of cocoa and plates of delicate open-faced sandwiches. Visitors pause at wrought-iron tables, soaking in the easy laughter that floats like confetti across the gentle hum of the park. In the softer light of afternoon, Tivoli becomes even more tender. Children race to touch the giant, colorful fish in the ponds, and couples stroll hand in hand beneath flower-draped arches. Performers dressed as jesters and storybook characters appear here and there, offering smiles and impromptu magic tricks, their footsteps quiet against the polished stones. As evening deepens, a transformation takes hold. Thousands of twinkling lights blink to life, stringing from tree branches, outlining rooftops and shimmering along every path. The gardens glow like a living lantern, their soft light mirrored in the eyes of every passerby. Music swells from hidden bandstands, and the breeze carries the scent of night-blooming flowers. By the time the stars appear overhead, Tivoli is no longer a garden or a park. It is a dream, suspended delicately between earth and sky. And those who walk its softly glowing paths feel as though they are part of something timeless, something that will continue to breathe and whisper long after they have gone. Beyond the city's gentle murmur, the Danish coast unfolds like a soft ribbon, winding through fields, forests, and seaside villages. Along quiet country lanes, bicycles glide silently, their wheels whispering against the old, worn paths. The salty air carries the scent of seaweed and wildflowers, and each breath feels fresher, lighter, touched by the open sky. Grassy dunes sway in the breeze, their long blades bowing and dancing to a rhythm only they can hear. The coastline curves lazily, revealing sleepy harbors where weathered boats bob against their moorings and seagulls wheel lazily above. Small cottages painted in bright reds, soft blues, and creamy whites sit close to the shore, their windows reflecting the silver gleam of the sea. Pedaling along, the rhythm of travel becomes as natural as breathing. Sometimes the road narrows to little more than a sandy trail, lined with wild roses and driftwood. Other times it opens wide, offering views of endless meadows stitched with stone fences and grazing sheep. Always the sea is nearby, its voice low and constant. Villages appear like quiet blessings along the way, each one offering a cozy cafe, a weathered bench, or a small market where jars of jam and fresh bread wait patiently on wooden shelves. The people wave without hurry, their smiles shaped by the slow language of coastal life. Here conversations are measured in moments, not minutes. A break at a tiny beach reveals treasures left by the tide. Smooth stones, pieces of sea glass, tangled nets washed ashore like offerings from another world. Children build castles in the damp sand, their laughter rising faintly into the wide blue air. Beyond the shoreline, the sea stretches out, a sheet of satin crinkled by the soft wind. As the day folds into afternoon, the golden light slants low, casting long shadows across the path. The bicycle tires crunch gently over scattered shells, and a soft hum of contentment settles in. Every turn of the wheels feels like a deeper letting go, a quiet surrender to the simple, soothing pulse of the coast. By evening, when the sun kisses the horizon and the sky blushes into shades of lavender and rose, the journey feels less like a ride and more like a dream, one woven by the sea, the sky, and the timeless whisper of the Danish shore. At the heart of the island of Funen, where winding rivers meet sleepy streets, lies Odense, a city where every cobblestone seems to murmur a story. Here, among the half-timbered houses and blossoming gardens, the spirit of Hans Christian Andersen lingers like a gentle presence, shaping the air with fairy tales and soft wonder. The old town unfolds in a patchwork of pastel homes, their walls leaning slightly with age and kindness. Narrow lanes, edged with low hedges and ivy, twist and turn in quiet patterns, inviting slow, thoughtful wandering. In the early morning, the streets are almost silent, save for the creak of old bicycles and the occasional flutter of a sparrow's wings. At the Andersen house, sunlight pools across wooden floors and dances along shelves lined with worn books and delicate sketches. The rooms, simple and tenderly preserved, seem to hum with the imagination of the boy who once dreamed here. Outside, a small garden blooms with hollyhocks and wild roses, their petals nodding in the breeze like characters in a story too shy to speak. Nearby, statues and murals celebrate the tales that grew from this soil. Little mermaids, steadfast tin soldiers, and tiny swans hidden among the reeds. Each sculpture, each painted wall, feels not like a monument, but a whisper, an invitation to see the world with a child's wide, wondering eyes. A stroll along the riverbank leads to more quiet magic. Willow trees trail their fingers in the water, and benches tucked beneath their shade offer spaces to sit and listen to the soft language of leaves and flowing streams. The gentle scent of grass, warm stones, and distant baking bread lingers sweetly in the air. Cafés along the squares offer a place to rest, warm places where buttery pastries crumble at the touch and mugs of rich coffee steam against the cool morning air. Locals move with an easy grace, exchanging greetings not hurried but savored, as if time here is meant for living rather than chasing. As the day softens into evening, lamps glow behind lace curtains, and the town falls into a hush that feels almost sacred. In the fading light, Odense becomes less a place and more a feeling, a quiet celebration of dreams, imagination, and the beauty tucked within the smallest corners of the world. At the very tip of Denmark, where the land tapers into a slender finger, lies Skagen, a town painted in soft pastels and salted breezes. Here the world seems to pause, caught between two restless seas that meet and dance in an endless shimmering embrace. It is a place where nature writes poetry not with words, but with waves and wind. The journey northward is quiet and unhurried. Low cottages with bright yellow walls and red-tiled roofs cluster together like seashells washed ashore. Fishing boats rock gently in the harbor, their hulls creaking in a language older than memory. Artists once flocked to Skagen to capture its otherworldly light, and even now the air feels brushed with something rare and luminous. A sandy path leads through rolling dunes, brushed by beach grasses and wild thyme. Footprints scatter and fade as the wind combs the shore, carrying with it the mingled scents of salt water, driftwood, and distant pine. Every step toward Grennen, the tip where the seas meet, feels like stepping deeper into a dream. At the water's edge, the North Sea and the Baltic Sea collide in a gentle, endless ballet. Their waves approach each other from different angles, cresting and folding against one another with soft murmurs and playful sprays. The boundary between them is visible, a wavering silver seam where the two great waters kiss and part again, forever entwined, yet forever separate. Standing there, shoes in hand, the cool water splashing over bare toes, it is easy to feel both small and infinite. The sky stretches impossibly wide, a shifting canvas of blue and pearl. Gulls cry overhead, their wings catching the light like bright scraps of cloth tossed into the wind. Nearby, old lighthouses stand watch, their towers weathered but proud against the endless horizon. Time itself feels slower here, marked only by the turning of tides and the slow drift of clouds across the open sky. As the sun begins its slow descent, painting the seas with ribbons of gold and rose, Skagen shimmers with a beauty too vast for words. It is a meeting place, not just of oceans, but of journeys, dreams, and the quiet wonder of simply being present at the edge of the world. In Roskilde, where ancient kings once ruled and longships kissed the shores, the past drifts softly through the air like morning mist. This small city, resting along the edge of a deep blue fjord, hums with a quiet dignity, its streets steeped in centuries of memory and song. The Roskilde Cathedral rises first, its twin spires reaching into the sky like open hands. Built of warm red brick, softened by time and weather, the great church feels less like a monument and more like an old, trusted friend. Inside, footsteps echo gently across worn stone floors, weaving among grand tombs and sunlit chapels. Golden dust motes drift lazily in the light that streams through narrow windows, painting the air with a muted, holy glow. Outside, the cathedral square brims with easy life. Cyclists move at a slow, rolling pace, and cafés spill their tables onto cobbled streets beneath fluttering canvas awnings. The scent of fresh pastries, warm from the oven, floats past, mingling with the crispness of the fjord's breeze. Laughter rises lightly from a nearby market, where baskets of berries and wildflowers sit in lazy disarray. A short walk leads down toward the water's edge, where the Viking ship museum stands like a whispered invitation to the past. Within its halls, the skeletons of ancient ships rest on soft beds of gravel, their worn timbers breathing stories of distant shores and salt-sprayed voyages. Tools, fabrics, and carvings are displayed with simple reverence, allowing the imagination to sail freely beyond the horizon. Near the museum, the lapping of the fjord against wooden docks fills the air with a soft, rhythmic song. Traditional longboats, carefully restored, bob gently in their moorings, their sails folded like sleeping wings. Children's voices ring out across the water, and the occasional splash of an oar dipping into the fjord adds a heartbeat to the scene. As the afternoon deepens, Roskilde wraps itself in a deeper stillness. The sun leans low over the rooftops, gilding the steeples and windows in a gentle farewell. The air carries the faint sweetness of drying hay and distant wood smoke, blending with the faint salt of the sea. In Roskilde, the echoes of time are not loud or demanding. They hum softly beneath every step and flutter through every leaf, a reminder that even as the world rushes forward, some places still move to the timeless rhythm of wind, water, and quiet memory. Off the southeastern coast of Denmark, where the Baltic Sea folds itself into deeper blues, lies Bornholm, a place cradled in quiet and softened by light. Known as the Pearl of the Baltic, the island feels untouched by time, a small world where simplicity and serenity weave together like threads of golden sun on water. Arriving in Bornholm feels like stepping into a painting brushed with wide, soft strokes. The villages are a tapestry of whitewashed cottages, red-tiled roofs, and cobbled streets lined with flower boxes spilling over in bright blooms. Everywhere the scent of salt air, ripe berries, and wood smoke from slow-burning hearths mingles into a tender welcome. The landscape unfolds in gentle surprises. Pine forests sway above mossy floors, while inland fields of barley and poppies wave in the easy breeze. Along the coast, smooth granite cliffs rise above quiet coves where the water laps lazily against time-worn rocks. Walking along these shores, it is easy to lose track of hours, carried along by the rhythm of the sea and the occasional call of a distant gull. Bornholm's round churches, white and sturdy against the blue sky, stand like silent guardians across the island. Inside their cool stone walls, whispers of centuries-old prayers seem to hang in the stillness, inviting visitors to pause, breathe, and simply be. Each step echoes softly, a reminder that peace is something built patiently, stone by stone. In tiny harbors like Gudhjem and Svaneke, smokehouses send up thin wisps into the clear air, their chimneys hinting at the treasures within. Freshly smoked herring, tender and rich, is served with rye bread, chives, and the warmth of good conversation. Seated by a weathered wooden table overlooking the sea, even the simplest meal feels like a celebration. Artisans work quietly in tucked-away studios, shaping glass, pottery, and jewelry with careful hands. Their shops, often no larger than a single sunlit room, hum with creativity, born not from haste, but from long, patient seasons of listening to the world around them. As evening falls, Bornholm becomes a place of whispered colors, soft pinks, deep blues, and the hush of twilight settling gently over fields and shores. Lanterns flicker to life along narrow lanes, casting a golden hush over doorways and garden paths. On Bornholm, life does not rush forward. It ripples outward, slow and steady, inviting all who visit to surrender to its timeless calm. In Denmark, food is not hurried or hidden away. It is part of the rhythm of life, woven gently into every day like a soft, familiar thread. From rustic village kitchens to candlelit city cafés, meals unfold slowly, meant to be savored and shared in the easy glow of good company. The scent of fresh bread greets each morning, rising from bakeries where crusty loaves and flaky pastries line wooden shelves. The wienerbröd, golden and spiraled, gleams under delicate glazes, while hearty rye breads, dense and fragrant, hint at the nourishing heart of Danish cuisine. A stop at a local café often means lingering over a simple breakfast, a plate of cheeses, soft-boiled eggs, and a strong dark coffee that warms both hands and spirit. By midday, tables fill with smørrebrød, open-faced sandwiches layered with artful care. Crisp rye is topped with smoked salmon, pickled herring, roast beef, or thin slices of egg and shrimp, each crowned with a scatter of herbs or a whisper of horseradish cream. Every bite carries the quiet wisdom of a land that prizes quality over quantity, flavor over flash. In the small towns and countryside inns, bowls of creamy fish stew and plates of tender frikadelle Danish meatballs appear from kitchens bathed in the scent of simmering herbs and melted butter. The meals are simple, yet each dish seems to carry with it the comfort of generations, a taste of home, even for those who have just arrived. Afternoons invite a pause known as kaffetid, coffee time, when cafes hum softly with the clink of cups and the low murmur of conversation. Cakes and pastries, like the delicate lag cage layered with cream and fruit, or rich almond tarts, sit under glass domes, waiting to sweeten the hours between work and rest. Candle flames flicker gently on every table, even in daylight, casting a golden light over folded newspapers, sketchbooks, and quiet smiles. Evenings bring a deeper coziness. In Copenhagen's hidden corners and along the coast's quiet towns, restaurants light their windows with a warm, inviting glow. Dishes arrive that honor tradition but whisper modern creativity: roasted root vegetables, butter-poached fish, fresh herbs gathered that morning. And always there is a feeling of welcome, of slowing down, of letting the night wrap softly around a good meal. In Denmark, food is more than nourishment. It is a way of belonging, an embrace offered in the form of bread, butter, and the gentle, everlasting glow of a candle shared between friends. As twilight deepens across Denmark's quiet streets, castle walls and coastal shores, the memories of this gentle journey settle like soft mist upon the heart. From the bustling harbors of Copenhagen to the whispering sands of Skagen, each place offered a tender moment, a reminder that beauty often lives in the spaces between breath and time. Here, where bicycles hum over cobblestones and candles flicker against window panes, life moves with a rhythm meant for savoring. The scent of fresh bread, the hush of waves meeting, the golden hush of evening light on an old cathedral. These are the gifts Denmark weaves into every corner of its land. It is a country that invites travelers not to rush, but to linger, to listen, and to dream a little more deeply. Even the simplest of moments, a quiet meal or a walk along a village street, carries a richness that lingers long after the journey has ended. As the final lights dim and the world outside fades into a blanket of stars, Denmark remains, tucked gently within, a land of stories and stillness, of warmth and wonder, offering the softest of invitations, to carry its peaceful spirit into sleep and to awaken always, with a heart a little lighter and a soul a little more at ease. We hope you enjoyed today's serene journey and found peace in our gentle narration. Do join us next time as we make a relaxing visit to another of the world's most iconic places. Sweet dreams and safe travels until we meet again.